Hi everyone and welcome back to this channel. As I said last week, today we're going to talk about the feeding routine that I have for my beauty. I just want to say first of all, if you haven't seen the video that I did last week, which is the complete diet, basically me telling you every single thing that I have fed to my beauty, and among all of those choices, there are some that I obviously feed him the most, which is normally the staple veggies or feeders. If you haven't seen that, make sure that you do, and I will make sure to leave that at the end of this video, so just in case you want to watch that after. Now, before I actually tell you what I feed to my beauty, like I said in last week's video, bearded dragon diet is a little different when it comes to young ones and already adults. So young beardies, they will need more protein. So obviously they need more bugs than vegetables, and that's where it comes all the 80% bugs and 20% vegetables, and then that basically changes to the opposite when it comes to adult beardies. So if you have a young beardie, make sure that you feed him every day. Now, if it's already a juvenile, probably still every day, but not as much. And obviously always try to make sure that you are trying to offer veggies, because the sooner they eat vegetables, the better. So like I said last week, you cannot offer only crickets and romaine lettuce. You have to you have to offer much more stuff than that, because the same way they that we need different stuff, they also need different vegetables and feeders. So I actually have like I would say kind of a different routine or way to feed my beardie than probably a lot of you, because when it comes to offering vegetables to bearded dragons, almost everyone always go for making salads, and that is actually something that I never do. Now, I'm not saying that I never chop or cut anything, because obviously I do. Like, for example, the hard stuff, like for example cactus, I think it was kind of obvious that it would have been a lot better to cut it. Other stuff, like for example the squashes, I also always cut them. But when it comes to leafy greens, bok choy, cilantro, small stuff like that, like when it comes to stuff like that, I never chop it. I actually always feed it exactly the same way that you grab it from the store. That's exactly how I feed it to him. Also, I also want to say that he doesn't have an exact how can I say this? I mean, an exact routine. Not every Monday he eats the same thing. Not every Tuesday. It's never like that. First of all, mine doesn't eat every single day. He's already an adult, and if he does eat every single day, it will be vegetables, especially bugs. That will be like once or twice a week. Now, if I was, for example, to write it down, it would be kind of something like this. For example, let's say that every 2 weeks I go to to buy all the groceries for here for my house. For those 2 weeks, I will buy 2 of the staple vegetables. So let's say that collard greens and also mustard greens, and I will also choose 2 from the rotational. So something like some kind of squash or some other stuff like that. And that is basically the only thing that I will buy at that moment. And for example, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, or even sometimes up to a month, I will get something from the treats and try to offer to him. Now some stuff, obviously they like for example the flowers. The only flower that I have ever offered to him is Dandelion Flower, and I pick it up from my yard, so it's only once a year. So basically what I do, let's say that for example I already got my all the other vegetables for him. I will choose 1 from the staple veggies and also 1 from the rotation. If it's like I said, some kind of a squash, something that I need to chop, I will cut it, and I will just give that to him already diced, and offer the leafy greens. And then for the next day I will choose the other 2. and give those to him. That way he will eat basically 4 different vegetables in 2 days. Now the next day, instead of vegetables, he will have some kind of bug, either dubia roaches, which is normally what he eats, or crickets. The next 2 days it will be the same thing, and then by the 5th day he will eat like another different kind of bug. Let's say that either whatever he didn't eat or superworms. So it will basically stay like that. He will eat vegetables for 2-3 days, and then after that some kind of bug. And when it comes to treats, I also never time it exactly. I just know that like for example in the beginning of the month is usually when I try to get some kind of treat for him. Normally this will be something like egg or superworms, something that obviously is just that a treat aside from the regular diet that he will have. So that is basically like how it is the routine. Now obviously what I always try to do is change it up. He might be eating for example the same 4 or 5 different vegetables like for almost 2 weeks, but for the next 2 weeks it will be different vegetables. And like I said, from time to time, like random times that I will go to the store, I will pick up something different for him to always try to feed him something different. So I really cannot tell you exactly what I feed him, how much of it or that, because I don't really write it down, or I don't make plans for it. I just know already. I mean, I have only one beardy. If I had 100, then that would be different. But what I can tell you is that experience has a lot to do with with already being used to knowing what you are feeding him. Because when you are new, I mean, you basically have to plan for it. Speaking of new keepers, this is why I wanted to do a collaboration with with Andrew from Zokomo TV, because even though he is new to reptiles, he knows a lot. Definitely a lot more than me when when I first started keeping. And so this is why here I'm going to show you basically what his idea is when it comes to feeding a bearded dragon.
Hey JP, thanks for the invite. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Andrew over at Zokomo TV. If you haven't watched our other video on what we actually feed our bearded dragons, go ahead and watch that right now. That might answer some of your questions. But for today's video, I'm going to talk about the importance of having a varied diet in our beardies' diets. So if we take a step back and look at it from a strategical thought process, it's very important to have different kinds of foods, because every single one of those foods is going to have a different nutritional content. And the easiest way to get that is just try to get different textures and different colors. But I know a lot of us are new to bearded dragons. We don't really know what to feed. So I'm just going to name 5 different kinds from the 4 different categories. So we're going to get 20 different kinds of foods that you can actually feed your bearded dragon. The first category is veggies. Now for Ember, we feed spring mix. That's an easy way to get varied diet, because spring mix has anywhere from 10 to 20 different kind of species in that spring mix. But spring mix is really easy. It's really easy to get. The other thing we feed is freeze-dried vegetables, so that it has peas in it. It has carrots, it has zucchini, and it also has green beans. So that's really cool. So a lot of people have that in their fridge already, so you can feed that to your bearded dragons. The next category is herbs or ornamental plants. So some common ones out there are clover, lavender, rose petals, hibiscus, and the other one I can't think of is dandelions. So we do feed Ember some dandelion greens. We actually can find that at our local grocery store. Be careful, you don't want to necessarily pick things off your lawn, because if your lawn care maintenance people use pesticides or herbicides or even fertilizers, that can actually be harmful to your bearded dragons. So do some research before you start plucking stuff out of your lawn. You want to make sure it's safe for your bearded dragon to eat. The next thing is fruits. Now you want to make sure you're not feeding any more than 10% fruits. We like to feed blueberries and strawberries, and Ember also likes apple slices. We've also had bananas before, but Ember doesn't really like them, and some people will actually feed grapes. So those are easy to find. Most people have them, again, As far as insects go, you really want to make sure you're getting a wide variety of insects because all of them have different calcium content and different moisture contents, and some of them are so dry they can actually dehydrate your bearded dragon. So superworms are popular, so are crickets. We also feed dubia roaches. Those are really easy and they're really nutritious for the animals. I really like silkworm larvae as well because they have soft bodies and they have high nutrition content. And another thing that's become really popular lately is black soldier fly larvae. So that's it. 5 different things from each of the 4 different categories. An easy way to get varied diet for your bearded dragons. If you have any further questions, please comment down below in this video, or go watch the other video that JP and I put out on my channel over at ZokomoTV.com. So thank you, JP, and thanks for watching.
Alright, so like I said, he is still learning, so obviously there's still some stuff that he needs to learn. It's just that, but he has a very good idea. So obviously if you guys want to to learn basically with and from him, make sure to go to his YouTube channel. I will have the video description down below. Just before I finish this video, I also want to say a couple of things when it comes to feeding my beardy. Because, for example, like I said, when it comes to leafy greens, I never cut them. I always offer them to him just like that. It will be by hand. Normally, it's my son, the one that is feeding those to him. One thing that I also do, I will basically put them in like in the little holes of cork rounds. So so the vegetables is basically like if it was growing from the floor, and he will just go and eat them like that. To me, this is just a way to try to make him do more than just walk to the to the football. Now, this is something that I do always whenever he's gonna get some kind of insect. Instead of simply using the tongues to put it right in front of him, I will make him run for it or climb something. It's just something that I always do. Try to get him to do a little more exercise. This is gonna be all for me. I really hope that this wasn't confusing, because I kind of feel like I was being a little confusing. But if you have any questions, make sure to just ask. I will be happy to answer them. Well, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go and check out Zokomo TV, and I will see you next week.